I mentioned a few times, I live in an area of the United States where it's very dry, so I have very dry skin. And then I look at someone like Waylon Jones here and I think, you know what? I don't have it too bad. And that seems like a weird intro, but I'm just letting you know if you ever come over to my house and you see lotion all over the place, it's because I have dry it's because I have dry skin. Right. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we're giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Extreme channel. We have an Extreme collectible on the table. This is Waylon Jones, or Killer Croc from the DC Universe, part of Batman's Rogues Gallery, so an adversary to the Batman. Very excited to have this piece, and if this looks a little bit familiar, it's because I actually own this one as well. This is from Prime One Studios. It's 1/3 scale, where this is 1/4 scale. So even though it's a larger number in the denominator, it's actually smaller, because that's how fractions work. You'd be surprised how many people don't know that. Anyway, this is a custom piece. So where the previous one was made by Prime One Studios, this is a custom. And why do I have them in 1/3 and 1/4 scale? Because I absolutely love Batman villains. I think it's one of the best parts of Batman is he has so many different cool adversaries. Very similar to Spider-Man. And I have the 1/3 scale, the large ones, displayed down here in my basement. And I'm building a brand new display for the 1/4 scale ones upstairs. And I'm going to do a new room tour because 99% of stuff has changed in the next few months. So make sure you've not only liked this video, but you've subscribed to the channel and hit that bell notification. So let's dive into the Extreme review of this custom piece. It's from one of my favorite custom groups, and I have more coming actually. Of these giant Batman villains, here is a teaser of just one. It is actually a Bane diorama. And these brawlers are so incredibly large, but I think that makes them amazing because there's a lot of other amazing stuff on this statue as well. So let's start with the concept of the statue. It's Killer Croc, who lives in the sewers, so of course they put him on top of a sewer, which I think is great. And what's really neat here is the sewer, you can actually see the pipes and stuff like that on the side of it. So it's kind of a conceptual thing. They're showing some sewer on the outside. It is scaled properly. This is just a pipe, clearly where he doesn't live. You see some brick all around it. And then at the top, there is an open manhole and kind of a crushed concrete cement with sewage leaking out everywhere, or green goo, or whatever the hell you want to call it, slime. And he is standing on top in a very tough, brawling position with his traditional outfit on. He usually just wears pants. He usually has wraps around his hands and feet. Now, so I can't give you any specific information regarding his outfit or anything of that nature. I just, like I said, I love how a lot of the Batman villains look, and he is no exception. Extremely bulky, extremely buff. Obviously, he is part crocodile. That's kind of his powers, if you will, which makes him incredibly strong. He lives in the sewer, and he is very, very hard to kill and just gruesome. I mean, look at this guy. No matter what portrait you have, there's multiple ones that we're going to look at. Very cool. So museum stance, I like it a lot. I don't think the concept is mind-blowing by any means, but definitely one of the best quarter-scale Killer Croc statues out there. Now, believe it or not, before I had a YouTube channel, I actually owned this one from Sideshow Collectibles. And what's crazy is it was cool for what it was, but it is nothing compared to this. Not just because this one is scaled correctly where that one wasn't. But I think concept's a 4 out of 5. I like a lot of the stuff they did, and I don't know what they could have done different. Now let's dive into design. As I said, he is a huge piece, so let's measure him really quick. All right. So the base is about 18, 19 inches wide, give or take. It's about 14 inches deep. Now, because he's a big character, even though he's hunching over and you have a very tall base, he's just over 27 inches. Now, if this base is too tall for you, too tall, there was another base option we're going to look at. But before we do that, here is the unboxing and assembly. So here are the two boxes it came in, which were surprisingly not heavy. Now, usually I don't show the art box, but they went all out on this art box. On every different side, there was something kind of cool. So I definitely want to show that here. And as you see, it was the regular black foam with straps that you traditionally see with custom statues. So the first box, the only thing it contained was the base. And the second box were the rest of the pieces. Now, I did film the assembly, but I accidentally deleted it. I've been filming so many videos lately. So his head attaches to his body attaches to the base. That manhole, or sorry, it's 2022. The person hole cover is a separate piece. And then on the bottom here, you actually have some sewage coming out of one of the back pipes. That is also a separate piece. Everything is via key and magnet and fit really well together. All right, so regarding the size, like I said, the base really props him up quite a bit, but you could get this base right here, which would be a little bit slimmer. Now, it's either that one or this one. You can't get both. And I may have made a mistake going with the taller one, but he is normally a large character. So like I said, this is quarter scale, 4 times smaller than a real life version. In the comics, he's anywhere from 6'8" to 8'6". So there is a little bit of variance in his size. Now they did give you 3 different portraits, as you can see. So let's look at each of those closely. First is definitely my favorite, bearing his fangs, but his mouth is kind of closed. Another one, kind of that same portrait, except teeth are a little bit different and the mouth is open. And then the more humanoid one. This very much reminds me of the Prime 1 Studios. This is cool as well. Very easy to put together. I had no issues whatsoever, so I really appreciate that. The only negative with design is there's a slight seam line from the side with the head, but very, very minimal. Now the design isn't incredibly elaborate, so it should be done well. So for those reasons, I think the design is a 4 out of 5. And I can't think of anything I wanted to see differently. I appreciate that they offered a base that wasn't as high. Very, very smart. That's kind of why they get that extra point, I think. Paint and sculpt. Pieces from this group are usually some of my favorite. This is still done well. However, it's not as cool as some of the other ones. Take a look. All right, let's check this guy out, starting with each of his mugs. So I thought this would be my favorite, but it's not. And I think it's because there's almost a little bit of a plastic feel right around his gums where his gums meet his teeth. Maybe I would have liked to see his teeth be a little more sharp. I'm not a huge fan of the decal eyes, but I do like the reptilian texture that you're going to see all over the body. I think that was done really well. And then the mix of colors of the green and brown. So then here's the humanoid portrait we talked about. I think this one's done much better. Again, not a fan of the decals in the eyes. While it's done much better, it's not my favorite, but I think the paint and sculpt is done really well on this. The spikes coming out look great. But, as I said, my favorite by far is this guy. See, this is to me how the teeth should be done. Again, has the decals in the eyes. But I love that effect. Maybe a little more saliva or glistening would have helped, but I really like these almost appendages or striations right here on the sides. Look really good. Definitely going to be the one to display. On the base, the piping on the outside, I like how they did that conceptually. And the dents really help with the sculpt, just make it look really worn. Not a huge fan of the green ooze at all. It has a cool neon effect. I like the paint, but it's a little, I'm trying to find the right word. I don't know, looks plasticky a little bit. This one looks much better, and what's funny is it appears on camera more of a neon glow than it does in real life. And you're gonna see that up here too. I really like the way it looks in the sewer. Around the sewer, not too much, a little too globular, if that's even a word. But in the sewer, I think looks absolutely fantastic. Bricks could have been done a little bit better. They're not bad, but I've just seen much better brickwork, especially like on Spider-Man statues for some reason. And let's swing it to the back here. So not a huge fan of that. And then the top, I'm not sure why they chose green right here with the green ooze from the sewer, and then obviously Killer Croc being green himself. But it works. It strangely works. I do like how it's all broken up and cracked. Now regarding Killer Croc, first let's look at his clothes. Pants, these look really good. I think Prime 1 did it better because there's more of that fine texture, but I like the linear pattern in the pants. There you see all the folds and creases. And then the color really kind of matches the base, matches the spikes coming out that we're going to look at. So it's done really well. I like that. Even his belt. I think they could have done a different color on the buckle. It's a little too clean, I guess. But I like the tears. Really nice job on the pants. The bandages look amazing. They did a really great job. They look like real bandages. They don't look sculpted. Not only making them worn, you see it threading on the sides, and then the yellow fading color on top of the white. And you'll see that up here as well. Really impressive. I love his nails. They could have had a little more enamel shine to them, but they still look good without that. I love, just looks scary. And then as we move into his skin, they did a great job on his skin. Like I said, really reptilian, kind of a mix between mostly different greens and blacks. I would have expected to see a little more yellow, but I'm glad they didn't do that. You see some up here. But even like look at the inside of his hands. Very padded, leathery type texture. Looks great. And then the spikes coming out, I'm also a fan of. Not as much as I am the segmented parts of his body here, but look at that. That looks absolutely fantastic. I think they did a really, really nice job. And the colors really pop too, so I think it all flows together extremely well despite some of my annoyances with a few of the minor things. His suspenders here are more of a PVC plastic material, and you can tell by looking at them, but it's not horrible, and it's behind him, so I'm not necessarily going to lose sleep over that. So really a few things I would have fixed, but very, very decent overall, especially Killer Croc himself. Sculpt. I think it's incredible. I think they did a fantastic job. I'm really, really impressed. I think the sculpt's a 5 out of 5. I really, really like it. Paint, I'm going to go a little bit less because I think those are some of the issues I had more with the base. I'm going to put the paint as a 3 out of 5 for me. I could see it as a 4 out of 5 though, but I'm going to stick with a 3 out of 5 for now because that's the kind of mood I'm in. A little 3 out of 5 mood. I tried to think of a sexual joke with that. I just couldn't. Now, is this guy worth it? So that old Sideshow one, the tiny one I had, was like $400 or $500 when I bought it 5-6 years ago. This guy was $1,100. But the Sideshow, they made hundreds, if not thousands. This, they only made $45. So $1,100, clearly best quarter scale Killer Croc on the market without a doubt. $1,100, and it's the size of 3 of those. So I think the price is probably justified. And I think there's so many Batman collectors, I think people would really want this. So I think the resale value is pretty good on this. I'm going to say it's a 4 out of 5. I could probably make a profit if I wanted to. Now, with that, this is a custom. Customs always require sea shipping. So I believe that was another couple $100. As you saw, they were pretty big boxes. Now, does he have the X Factor? Is he a 5 out of 5 statue? This is a really, really cool Batman statue, without a doubt. And upstairs, I'm actually redoing a display. I'm putting all the Batman villains together, so I think he's going to look awesome, not only with that new Bane I showed you, but with them in general. So I do give him a 5 out of 5 overall. I think people will be naturally drawn to this guy. He's badass looking. He's very cool. What do you guys think? If the Sideshow one was $500 and this was $1,100, what would you buy if you needed a Killer Croc for your collection? Throw that down in the comments below. I want to see who wins. For me, it would definitely be this one. But I love to read your comments. I love you guys to interact with each other. And that comment could win you a statue. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Throw down your comments below. Please hit that like button. You can do it. Just hit it. But more importantly, if you haven't subscribed, you like stuff like this, hit that subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.